I'm Amy Jablonski, Director of Integrated Academic and Behavior Systems here at the Department of Public Instruction.
And I'm Bill Hussey, Director of Exceptional Children's Services at the Department of Public Instruction.
We are excited to introduce you to the third and final facilitated online learning module, the evaluation and identification of students with specific learning disabilities. In this module, we will explicitly show you how the information covered in both Module 1 and 2 can be applied to make important special education decisions. While MTSS is not a pathway or process to get to special education, installation of the critical components of an MTSS supports the evaluation, identification, and instruction of students with disabilities. In fact, this is reflected in the policies for specific learning disabilities by inclusion of these essential components. 1. A system of high-quality core instruction and scientifically research-based intervention. 2. Multiple tiers of instruction that vary in intensity matched to student need. 3. A systematic process of problem-solving and data-based decision-making, as well as number 4, a comprehensive, balanced assessment system. Everything you have been learning in the past 2 modules supports the installation of these essential components identified in policy. In Module 1, you worked on defining and strengthening core instruction. By doing so, you have ensured the student suspected of having a learning disability has had the opportunity to learn and engage in rigorous content. By systematically examining district, school, grade level, and class data and problem solving around this data, teams are able to document and ensure inadequate achievement is unexpected and the student was provided learning experiences and instruction appropriate for the child's age and grade level standards. This is the data needed to meet the criterion of inadequate achievement. In Module 2, you developed a system of intervention and continue building a systematic structure for examining student response to interventions. You examine data for groups, subgroups, and individual students to evaluate response to intervention. You establish the intervention is delivered with fidelity and that the majority of students are responding to the intervention. You have data available to establish that the student is responding at an insufficient rate to reduce their risk of failure after an appropriate period of time.
When I was in ABSS, Elements Burlington School System, we, as the Exceptional Children's Director, we put in play what was then RTI, but basically the concept of MTSS. And what we found was that it worked. And so when I got here to DPI, one of the first things that I was interested in trying to do was to match MTSS together with the change in the SLD definition to try to create the opportunity to do what needed to be done for students. We've been using, and were using when I got to DPI, the discrepancy model, and we really needed to move away from that. The history was there, the research was there to say that this was not an effective model, that it didn't work, and that we caused children to have to wait, basically to fail, to actually be identified later in the 3rd grade thereabouts, through the discrepancy model. And that was just not something that we could continue to do. It was ineffective. We, in Alamance, going backwards again, in Alamance, what we were really able to do over about 5.5 years was to play with the process and begin to understand how it worked. It gave me the belief and the understanding that we could do this statewide. There was a little bit of an issue when I got here in that folks were thinking that maybe we should just do this with elementary. So basically we decided to go ahead and move forward and really do it K-12 because it was what needed to happen. We worked with MTSS to start to coordinate how this would happen. MTSS worked with us throughout the process in helping us think about the SLD policy and the change, and us helping MTSS think about the implementation process and what it was going to be as we rolled it out. It's it's working. We're moving forward. The rollout's there. We're helping people begin to understand the need for the comprehensive evaluation, that we're looking at data over time on individual children, and that it's that culmination of looking at data that basically says to us through the process that we have a suspicion of a disability. And that's done through time, through a period of time to get us to where we need to go.
You use a phrase sometimes called the culminating or the cumulative effect.
It is the cumulative effect of the data that basically says we've tried this, we've done that, we've moved through the process, we've looked at instruction, we've looked at the curriculum, we've looked at the child. And when we combine all those things together, the data itself now says to us, this is what we need to do. We need to move forward and consider SLD as a potential possibility. But the other side of that is that it also supports the MTSS piece, helps us to support working with children who may already be LD in reading in math through the actual process. And so it's a continuous live process that works and supports all children, EC kids, regular ed kids, but all children in the process of determining how and what needs to happen for those kids. So I'm excited in that we're basically doing something that's going to be in the here and now, that we're moving, we're looking at kids. We're not going to have to wait for children to fail anymore. We can get to them early. We can assess the issues relative to risk, culminate that again through data, formative assessments, summative assessments, classwork, all of that together, intervention to look at what needs to happen for children. So I'm really excited that we're moving forward where we are, and that we're at Module 3 now, and we can help the LEAs and the special ed programs look at what needs to be done to utilize MTSS in the best way for children.
So we definitely appreciate all the work that you've done already in Module 1 and 2 to prepare yourself and your district, and each of the critical features are needed to install an MTSS to get to this point within Module 3. We will not stop supporting you along the way. We are here to continue professional development and coaching after you complete this module, and we look forward to seeing all the great work that you do in your school districts. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.